are no strings on me. I'm obsessed with Pinocchio. I've got no strings to hold me down, to make me flip or make me frown. Avengers Age of Ultron, directed once again by Josh Whedon, and is the 2015 sequel to 2012's Titan hit superhero flick that was the Avengers. So Age of Ultron tells the story after the events of Winter Soldier with S.H.I.E.L.D. destroys, the Avengers finally assemble after 4 movies that came after the Avengers to search for Loki's scepter, and once they have it in their possession, Tony foolishly creates Ultron, and Ultron immediately, I am not kidding, doesn't like the human race. He's literally a robot Nazi as he plots to make the entire human race extinct to govern the world he sees fit. So it's up to our favourite Earth's mightiest heroes to assemble for a second time to take down Ultron. No lie, ladies and gentlemen, I at first absolutely loved Age of Ultron on its initial release in April to May 2015, 3 years ago, as did everybody else. However, over time, on multiple rewatches, the movie just gets worse and worse. What do I think of it now? What a disappointment! And many others would agree. This has to be the most disappointing MCU movie of all time. To say this movie was one of the most anticipated of 2015 would be an understatement. It deserved to be just as good, if not even better, than the original Avengers, with Josh Whedon returning to direct, and Ultron, one of Marvel Comics' greatest, most timeless villains. It could have rivaled The Dark Knight as the greatest superhero sequel. I'm being serious, and yet what we got was just an imperfect to decent follow-up. I'm glad to be reviewing this movie after many rewatches to confirm my final thoughts, since this isn't a movie you can review on your first viewing, as it's such a mixed bag. My thoughts on this movie, trust me, are extremely, ever so complex. I'll spend the exact same amount of time giving my positives and negatives, because there are things in this movie that make you go, hell yeah, that's awesome, but there are other times when you're like, what? Age of Ultron's strength lies in its epic scale and scope. This is a colossal movie. It's vast, even by MCU and blockbuster standards, not just with the monumental cast of superheroes that's are jam-packed in this film, but its action sequences, they're off the scale. The action sequences are the funnest parts of this movie, especially the opening battle where they're looking for Loki's, and there's this one awe-inspiring group shots. Josh Whedon is certainly a big fan of group shots with the Avengers, and that group shots is neck and neck with the group shots of the Avengers from the first movie, as among the definitive group shots of Earth's mightiest heroes, and So the Iron Man and Hulkbuster fights, that fight was 100% worth the wait. I was on the edge of my seat and couldn't wait to see who came out on top, Hulk or Iron Man and Hulkbuster. And in terms of summer blockbuster final battles, it's perfect. It's when Ultron just lifts that city in Europe and transforms it into this meteor that will lead to global extinction if it crashes into the Earth. Our entire final battle is as epic as it sounds. This movie fixes the flaw for those who complained about Hawkeye being a one-note character in the original Avengers. In this movie, Hawkeye gets a proper development. He has a family on a farm, his wife who's expecting their third child, and his daughter and his son. And note that Hawkeye married Velma from Scooby-Doo. Yep, exact same actress. Elizabeth Olsen's Scarlet Witch, if there was ever a strong female character that could be as kick-ass as Black Widow, it would be her, for sure. She is by far my favourite character in this entire movie, and I wish she was in the original Avengers. Scarlet Witch is given a dramatic character arc where at first she's recruited by Ultron, but later sides with the Avengers as she finally wakes up and sees that Ultron is an asshole. We don't see Vision until the third act of this movie, but man, Vision's incredible. He is one of the few heroes that has the godlike abilities to face down with Ultron, and he can just pick up Thor's hammer and just toss it like it's nothing. And here's when we get to our negatives. Here's where the movie majorly screws up. This movie may be 1 minute shorter than the first Avengers, however it feels a little longer because it's far more complicated. The movie's overwhelming scale is both a positive and a negative. But Age of Ultron has literally as much going on as The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yep, I am going that far. Literally, the movie is just so intent on setting up future MCU installments, like, which, by the way, the sequences in Hawkeye's farm, while they are important for Hawkeye's character development, they go on far too long. They could have been cut short, and the moment when Thor goes into the pool and sees the vision of Infinity Stones, set up for Thor Ragnarok and Infinity War. Andy Serkis's Claw is in this movie just to set up Black Panther, and Cap and Tony have a little misunderstanding set up for Civil War. We don't care about all that setup and cinematic universe shit. So can this movie just be focused on Ultron? Seriously? And yeah, this movie is one of the most overstuffed and bloated superhero movies I've ever seen. Although I'm a big supporter of Scarlet Witch, I didn't give a shit about Quicksilver. How come we didn't just get the amazing Quicksilver from the X-Men movies? I'm like, Aaron Taylor Johnson's Quicksilver, and he's wooden and boring, but thank God Scarlet Witch was the one that lived of the two. I'd rather Quicksilver was killed off than her, since she's the superior character by far, and Black Widow and Hulk's romance sucks. It's forced. And what about Betty Ross from The Incredible Hulk? She's going to be outraged if she discovers that her boyfriend is cheating on her with Black Widow, and the worst thing about Age of Ultron, certainly the most disappointing, is Ultron himself, who was supposed to be this movie's great villain, but he falls flat. He has to be the most underwhelming movie villain, period. After he was hyped up, after all of the anticipation and build up to him being this unstoppable villain that's cause literally wiped the floor with the Avengers. Trust me, I wanted to love Ultron. Despite James Spader's menacing voice acting, and he does have some iconic quotes like, "You're unbearably naive." The character himself is a total anticlimax, as he's written as a joke, and he gets literally beaten and loses all of the fights in this entire movie. He never comes out victorious on even one fight. Him turning evil is forced writing. He's evil literally the day he's born, the moment he's born. I'm like, as Force says in the final battle, "Is that the best you can do?" And Nick Fury serves no purpose other than to be a plot device in the finale when he brings the Hellcarrier to get the civilians out of the floating city. Although I am apologetic to Josh Whedon, while he could have done a better job with the direction of this movie, he at least did help Justice League turn out as awesome as that movie was, and I feel sorry for him that he was literally booted off Infinity War after fans reacted so negatively to Age of Ultron, and he was literally in a bad state after Age of Ultron, so come here, Josh, you need a hug. Overall, guys, if you love Age of Ultron, that's awesome, although I think we're all in agreement that after Marvel were on fire in 2014, they took 2 steps forward with Winter Soldier and Guardians of the Galaxy, both better movies than Age of Ultron. They then took a step backwards and down with this one. Fingers crossed I'll like Infinity War more than this one. I give Avengers Age of Ultron 3 stars out of 5. Good movie. So yeah, if Infinity War turns out more satisfying than Age of Ultron, then Age of Ultron shall remain my least favourite Avengers movie, personally. Well, I love you guys. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And what did you think of Age of Ultron? Please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow me on Twitter and on Google Plus and on Instagram. And I'll see you all next time. I cannot believe I just have one more MCU review to go until Infinity War. Can't wait, which will be Ant-Man. And remember, movies are us. Bye, guys.